much, Maryam, for joining or for participating in this interview. I'm very much looking forward to know more about you and your school. So my first question is, to begin with, would you like to say something about yourself and your background?
Yes, it's really good joining you. Yeah. So basically, I grew up with my sister and my mom because I lost my dad really early, and my mom happens to be a teacher. But I remember always loving to learn. Like I love to learning and love teaching. I remembered I was in the third grade, as we call it, primary three, when I had like a first tutor job. So I had one of my teacher getting a child for me to teach then. So and then when I was in like the fourth grade, I had a little mini school in my building, yeah, within my house. So I had some of the students from my mom's school come around in the evening to have some little teaching job, for me to tutor. So it was, yeah, I remember that I had the passion and passion for teaching right from very little. But then I never, at that time, I never considered becoming a teacher, because at that period of time, the teaching job was just not something one wants to do, would think about doing, because it was so low. I mean, the pay for a teacher was really, really low. And then it's not something we look up to, like, oh, I want to become a teacher. So I had the interest in teaching. So I remember even all the way through the university, I always had like, I always did volunteer jobs, teaching jobs, just teaching of children around the neighborhood for free then. So it's something I always enjoyed doing up until I started my school. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yes, it's a passion. It has to be a passion, doesn't it? My second question is, what role do you see education play in the development of society in Nigeria? And is this what inspired you to become a teacher?
Yeah. So the role of education plays in the development of a society, it can't be overemphasized. It's so important in the development of any country, any society, because we have to. Education helps a person, an individual, to develop their potentials, and getting to know, oh, these are things I can solve. There's problems I can solve. This is what I have potential for, and there's a problem in the society that I can solve. And then solving this problem would create opportunity of having a great job, having a good job, and which is a very big problem right now. I mean, in many societies, and particularly my country, the unemployment rate is so high. And after people pass through the university, they're trying to figure out, oh, okay, they realize that there are no jobs waiting for them. And now the institution, they're trying to figure out, oh, I need to look into what I think I can do. And most of the time, it's a bit too late. So I believe that if I mean education, having good education, it's very instrumental towards the development of the country. We'll have people in all areas of the economy solving the problems, and this is going to be in terms of even having a good the government, the leadership roles. If we have a good education, if the people, individuals have good education, and there's compassion towards other people, I and that's one of the inspiration I have. I believe that with education we can really get towards our having great better jobs and having people that are compassionate to one another.
Thank you. So is this why that's what inspired you to become a teacher? Yeah.
Definitely, definitely, definitely,
Uh,
definitely.
thank you so
It's
much.
like the comparing what education was like in Nigeria back in like the 40s, 40 years ago, comparing it to now, it's way different, and it has really, really affected the development of the country. And I just hope that I could be instrumental, and the education, we could have something better to have a better economy, better society.
Wow, wow, this is really amazing. My third question is, when did you first discover Montessori education, and what attracted you about it?
So, about 8 9 years ago, I think that was the first time I heard the word Montessori education. I was in the university then. I just heard from a child that I go to a Montessori school, and that was all I knew about it. So I had my first child. I remembered, well, yeah. So I had the intention, plans to open to start a homeschool for her. So I got to meet with some people that started some small preschools, and then I heard about Montessori again. And then when I started the homeschool, then I went for a child care training, and then that was when I met my first Montessori mentor. So she told me that, oh, Montessori, she was trained in Montessori, and she just was like, this is really good. It's a pedagogy that's really good for the children, especially for the children, that it's really good. And she's a Muslim, and she told me, oh, after Islam is Montessori, that it's really, really good. They're all kind of, you do things step by step, just like it is in Islam. So she really got me interested in it. And then at that point, I didn't really know so much, but I got attracted to it because there was the independence thing, like teaching children to become independent, and then learning at their pace, which is something I really, really loved doing, and learning at pace. And it's one of the things that really inspired me towards becoming studying Montessori and becoming a teacher in and because learning at my pace, I always did it. I always loved doing this, and though it affected me, especially in the university, I didn't come out with it because what was the expectation then was that you had to study, you had to know how to pass examinations, which I did not do. So I mean, I preferred learning at my own pace because I love learning, but it didn't turn out well for me. So that's one of the inspirations, my greatest inspirations to study Montessori and open in Montessori school.
Yes, I have to say I agree with you. That's one of the aspect of Montessori that I was very attracted to. This own working at your own pace. Question: it's one thing to be a teacher. It's another thing to start your own school. Do you remember when you first felt you really wanted to open your own Montessori school?
Yes, that was 6 years ago when I had my first child. So basically, what I wanted then, I didn't know about Montessori education, though I heard about it and I kind of loved the name, but I didn't really know what it entailed. So, though at that time, I was trying to get more information. I had some interest, like I just knew like some tidbit about it. So I didn't get information. Like the information on what Montessori education was, I didn't get it for a very long time. But I knew that period of time when I had my first child and I started a homeschool, I knew I wanted a school that was very child friendly and whereby children worked at their own pace, and also they worked independently, like working to be independent, to know how to do things by themselves. So even before I got information on Montessori education, I was actually doing that in the homeschool. Like I was trying to, yeah, do things to make the children learn in a friendly environment, and then teaching them to do some things by themselves, wear the clothing by themselves, before I even knew that there was practical life in Montessori that had all that in.
Right. Yes, that's
Yeah.
exactly what happened to me as well. I really wanted something like that. That is really wonderful. Thank you so much. So the next question is, what have been your biggest challenges so far? Has the experience been different to what you expected?
So my biggest challenge is to start with is actually the information as regards to what it takes to run a Montessori school. So starting with the training. So for a very long time, until like 2020, I did not have the what information as regards to what it takes, the training to get trained as a Montessori teacher. I didn't have that information. I remember recently I saw an email I sent to a Montessori teacher about 6 years ago, asking about Montessori and all, and I never got a response. I can't even remember how I got the person's contact, but I was so grateful in 2020, where I connected on some Facebook page, Montessori group, and I shared the picture of my classroom with some teachers, some Montessori teachers, and they were like, "What kind of training did you get?" So so I was so fortunate. I got someone from an administrator at the AMI Center in Zurich, Ms. Jessica Scrimes. She gave me a sponsorship to take an assistant course, and that was where it got started. And then so we started getting it right. Earlier, before then, we were just getting materials. We were just getting materials, and we really didn't, and information online. We tried reading up, but it's really different from actually going through the training. So getting the information was really a problem. And then in Nigeria, we have lots and lots of short courses, that introductory courses many people do, and they say they do Montessori training, and it's just introductory and nothing deep into in Montessori. And I did an introductory training by someone that's the same that does Montessori training in Nigeria, but that really didn't I didn't get that didn't get me trained. Like, so the information on Montessori education, the training, is one of the biggest challenges I have faced. And then another is finances. Okay, so when I got the information as regards it, the finances. So initially, I knew it was actually before 2020. I was researching online, and I saw the money, the amount for to get trained was so much, and I felt like I could never have afforded this. So when I connected to the administrator, in Zurich, she told me I could ask for, I could get support, get sponsorship. So the information and then the finances, and even initially before now, like when we got started too, it was finances, like getting the materials, because we got the materials initially before getting trained. But so the materials, and by the time I got started with the training, I realized that it takes a whole lot to have a prepared environment. So it's really financially, it takes a whole lot. And um since we are serving a very low income earning community, the tuition we charge is very, very little, and it's not even able to sustain even just joining. So it's really difficult getting a prepared environment, the materials, and the other challenge is the getting trained teachers is almost difficult get trained teachers, and then training of the teachers, right? It's expensive, and we are still really trying to get that done, and we're hoping we get there, because getting a prepared and calm environment, it takes a trained teacher. So that's another challenge. And the other challenge is discipline, and positive discipline and respect for children, because the culture in my community is not such that respect the children, and there's a whole lot of lack of respect for even one another, not to talk about even the children. So it's really big struggle, but I'm so thankful. I got connected with some awesome, kind-hearted Montessori teachers like you that have been guiding towards achieving a Montessori school, a great Montessori school, a standard Montessori school. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I understand. Let me just, okay, I just want to look at the next question. So the next question is, in your experience with the school so far, could you share with us how you feel that the Montessori philosophy and your faith as a Muslim work together?
So it's the Montessori philosophy and my faith actually working. It's really so much in line with my religion, because I remember my first Montessori mentor. She told me, she's a Muslim, and she used to tell me that after Islam is Montessori, because she found out that there's so many things in Montessori that is just in line with the principles of my religion. For example, the step-by-step methodology of Montessori. And when you do presentations, it's just like in the religion. So when we do the rituals or prayers and all, it has a particular step. And then besides that, the respect and kindness and gentleness for the children is one of the very important principles of my religion, which is not so much emphasized. Like, the emphasis might not be, but it is in the religion. It is like the emphasis actually is so much, and this is just in line with Montessori, and it's just like the same thing. So it's really in line with my faith. And then another aspect is the child disposition, understanding the developmental stages of the children, and understanding that younger children, you have to learn how to deal with them. You have to play with them until they get a bit older and they understand things, and their level of obedience and all gets higher and all. So before that stage, there's saying in my religion that says you play with the children until they are 7. So at that stage, you're still, you still have to create an environment that understands that the children that is very friendly to the children and all. So it's really in line with my faith and the mutual respect, and also the spiritual preparation of the adults. It's a very great emphasis in my religion, because the spiritual preparation and spiritual purification of the soul is just like in Montessori. Being biased and remembering, what happened the last yesterday. You make sure you don't carry that to the next day, and so it's really in line with my religion, and I feel like with Montessori, the world will be a better place, just like in line with many in Christianity and all. Yeah, it's really in line with the religion.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. That's beautiful. The next question is: you have chosen to name your school Noble Sprouts of Faith School. Could you share some of the reasons behind your choice?
So basically, when I started as a homeschool, so it was initially Precious Sprout of Faith School, and I got that name from a book on a book that I read before I had my child. It's a Precious Sprout series. So it speaks about how you prepare for your child, and how you nurture your child, even before the child is born, and nurturing in the right way, and to be a functioning and a good, I mean, whatever, all the good that you can do to the child, and getting the child ready to become a good human being. So yeah, so that nurturing part, that's why the sprouts came up, in the ways of the religion, and that's just basically being a good human being. So that's, and then so I didn't register, as I couldn't get to register the school early enough. So the school name has been taken, so we had to change it to Noble Sprout of Faith School, because we want to groom the child, nurture the child to become a noble child. So that's basically where the name came from.
Thank you very much. Let me read the next question. You have established your school now and it is growing. What are your goals for the future and for Montessori in wider Nigerian society?
So my goals for the school is that it serves the community, and it gives a good option for children, provides the option where children learn at their own pace, and they learn to become independent. They learn to become problem solvers and peaceful individuals. So my goal is to create a school that will serve even more children in the community, and children will not be seen as children with some developmental issues, or different learning styles will not be seen as not not intelligent, but using with the Montessori method, you get to understand that your children learn at different paces, and they have different methods of learning, and different, yeah, they have their strengths. So I hope that we're going to be able to serve more children within the community and out, and they're enjoying that learning, where they learn at their own pace, and they learn what interests them. And this is the lifelong learning we have really craving for, to have the problem solvers, to have people that would enjoy learning, and can be job providers and peaceful human beings that would turn things around for better in the society.
I love it. Really, it's just really amazing. The final question is, do you have a vision for the development of Montessori in Africa as a whole?
Yes, so yes, I do have, and that's one of the reasons why I started and registered an NGO, Nurturing Sport Education and Development Foundation, last year, and it's something I've nurtured for a very long time, and I'm hoping that I will get going with it. And so I I hope that we are going to be able to get more teachers trained, more people interested, people that have flair, that have flair for teaching, would get to appreciate teaching and go into becoming teachers, because right now we have shortage of teachers. Many people don't want to go into teaching, even those that have the flair for teaching, that have the potential to become great teachers. They don't want to go into teaching because they see it as there's no it doesn't bring in financially. It's not they don't get much from it. So I'm hoping that we get to change these narratives by making the teaching, especially the Montessori teaching profession, something what's a profession that many people would want to go into, and also providing information as regards to authentic Montessori training, like the AMI trainings and AMS and other authentic Montessori trainings. But I mean, having the information as regards to this training, and also being able to afford, because they are very expensive. And I mean, hoping that we collaborate and we help in getting funding so that they can get trained, because this is so essential. We have lots of schools around tagged Montessori schools, but there's nothing close to what Montessori is. And I mean, what is lacking is actually the trained teachers, and hoping that we was getting so this is gets helping, I mean, collaborate to get more funds so that we can help in having more a prepared environment, by having the materials needed in the classrooms around. Yeah, so those are my goals, that we have the well-trained teachers, more well-trained Montessori teachers, yeah, and we have the resources, and then financial support for children, for families that want to have Montessori education for their children but cannot afford it, and even for low-income in any families. Most times it gets tagged that they are not intelligent, and many we have they get to drop out of school and all. And but if they go through Montessori education, we know this is less likely to happen. So I'm hoping that I'm working towards ensuring that Montessori education spreads around Africa.
Okay. Well, I just want to say a big thank you, and I'm very grateful for you to be in this interview. And everybody out there, if you're watching, and if you would like to support the school, Maryam School in Nigeria, please have a little look at the link below, and you can click and contact Maryam directly. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you, Maryam. Thank you, Nigeria. Thank you, Africa.